curious, why?
Your brain has a secret enemy. It's an ancient survival mechanism that is now sabotaging your success and stealing your dreams. This is the story of the hidden war inside your head. The war against procrastination. We've all been there. A huge deadline is approaching, a project that really matters for your career or your future. But instead of working, you find yourself organizing your sock drawer, deep cleaning the kitchen, or falling down a rabbit hole of videos about things you don't even care about. You call yourself lazy. You feel a wave of guilt and anxiety, but inevitably, you do it again the next day. But what if I told you this has almost nothing to do with laziness or poor time management? Conventional wisdom is wrong. Procrastination is not a character flaw. It's a deep-seated biological and emotional response. To understand why we procrastinate, we first need to understand the epic battle happening inside our own minds every single day. Point 1. The battle in your brain. To understand procrastination, imagine your brain has two drivers competing for control of your actions. The first is your prefrontal cortex, the logical, modern part of your brain located right behind your forehead. This is the CEO of your brain. It makes long-term plans, understands future consequences, and is the voice that tells you to finish that important report so you can relax later. It's the part of you that wants to go to the gym, eat healthy, and save for retirement. It is, in essence, your future self. But there's another, much older and more powerful driver, the limbic system. This is the primitive, emotional core of your brain, the part we share with ancient mammals. Think of it as the instant gratification monkey, a creature that has been around since our caveman days. Its only job is to ensure survival by following two simple rules: avoid immediate pain and seek immediate pleasure. It doesn't understand the future. For the limbic system, the only thing that exists is right now. When you face a task that feels difficult, boring, stressful, or ambiguous, your limbic system sounds a primal alarm. It screams, "Danger! This feels bad! Abort mission! Let's do something fun and easy instead, like scrolling social media or eating a snack." This triggers a very real, physical stress response. Your logical prefrontal cortex tries to argue back, but the deadline is tomorrow. This is important. Unfortunately, in this tug of war, the limbic system often has the upper hand because it controls our immediate feelings and impulses. Procrastination, at its core, is simply the result of your emotional brain hijacking your logical brain to escape the immediate negative feelings associated with the task. Point 2. The hidden fear. The second reason we procrastinate goes deeper than just avoiding boredom. It's about avoiding the powerful and often subconscious fear of judgment. We often delay starting a project, not because we can't do it, but because we're terrified of what will happen when we do it and the world gets to see it. This primary fear is the fear of failure. We worry that our work won't be good enough, that we'll be criticized, or that we will confirm our own deepest insecurities about our competence. By procrastinating, we cleverly create a built-in excuse, a psychological safety net. If we fail or the work is subpar, we can tell ourselves and others, "Of course it's not perfect. I only did it at the last minute." This allows our ego to blame the circumstances, lack of time, rather than our own abilities. It's a self-handicapping strategy. We trade the certainty of last-minute stress for the possibility of a devastating judgment on our true capabilities. It feels safer to be the person who ran out of time than the person who wasn't good enough. But paradoxically, there's another, even more insidious fear: the fear of success. What if you actually do an amazing job? What if you get that promotion, start that successful business, or publish that brilliant creative work? Success brings new, higher expectations. You will be expected to perform at that level again and again. The spotlight will be on you. This new pressure can be terrifying. By putting off the task, we unconsciously protect ourselves from that new, higher-stakes reality. Procrastination, in this sense, is a deeply dysfunctional form of self-protection, a shield against the potential judgment that comes from stepping into the spotlight, whether we succeed or fail. Point 3. The modern trap. Perfectionism and overchoice. The third reason is a modern epidemic, amplified by our hyper-connected digital world: perfectionism. We are constantly exposed to the perfect final products of others, the flawless projects, the successful businesses, the curated perfect lives on Instagram and LinkedIn. This creates an impossible, unrealistic standard in our minds. We fall into the trap of believing our own work has to be perfect from the very first draft, a masterpiece from the moment we begin. This all-or-nothing thinking is utterly paralyzing. The fear of not creating a masterpiece makes it impossible to even start. A blank page is terrifying because it's so infinitely far from the perfect finished product we have in our imagination. So, instead of writing a bad first sentence or creating a mediocre first design, we choose to do nothing at all. This isn't laziness. It's a form of performance anxiety, where the pressure to be perfect is so immense that doing nothing feels safer than doing something that is merely good enough. This is compounded by another modern problem: decision paralysis, or overchoice. To start a task today often means choosing from dozens of potential tools, methods, or approaches. Should I use this software or that one? Should I research this article first or that one? The sheer number of choices can be so overwhelming that the easiest decision is to make no decision at all. Our brain, seeking to conserve energy, simply shuts down and opts for the simplest possible action: checking email for the 10th time. So, we know our brain is wired to avoid negative feelings. The conventional wisdom, the voice of hustle culture, tells us the solution is more discipline, more willpower, to be tougher on ourselves. But here's the unexpected answer, the scientific twist that turns that advice on its head. The solution to procrastination isn't to be tougher on yourself. In fact, it's the opposite. Studies by Dr. Tim Pychyl and others have shown that students who practiced self-forgiveness and forgave themselves for procrastinating on one exam were significantly less likely to procrastinate on the next one. Why? Because self-criticism, guilt, and shame are all intensely negative feelings. When you beat yourself up for procrastinating, you are feeding the very beast you're trying to fight. You are making the task even more stressful and unpleasant, which makes your limbic system scream even louder to escape, leading to a downward spiral of procrastination, followed by guilt, followed by more procrastination. The surprising truth is that self-compassion is a more effective productivity tool than harsh discipline, because it removes the negative emotions that cause procrastination in the first place. So, how do we fight back in this war, knowing that brute force isn't the answer? It's not about finding more willpower. It's about using clever psychological tricks to outsmart our own ancient brains. Here are 3 simple science-backed takeaways you can use today to break the cycle. First, embrace the 2-minute rule, a concept popularized by productivity expert David Allen. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately, right now. Don't write it down. Don't schedule it. Just do it. This simple habit builds incredible momentum and creates a cascade of small victories that your brain loves, making it easier to tackle bigger tasks. Second, break it down into ridiculously small pieces. A huge, vague task like write a 20-page report is terrifying to your limbic system. Break it down into the smallest, most concrete, non-intimidating first step imaginable. Your goal isn't to write the report. It's to open a new document and write a single sentence. Your brain isn't afraid of a one-sentence task. Once you start, the momentum often takes over, and the hardest part, beginning, is already behind you. And third, and most importantly, practice what we just learned: self-forgiveness. The moment you realize you've been procrastinating, don't fall into the trap of self-criticism. Acknowledge it without judgment, and then gently redirect your focus to the next tiny, actionable step. By being kinder to yourself, you strip the task of its negative emotional charge and break the vicious cycle of guilt and avoidance. You are not a lazy person. You are a human with a human brain, and you can learn to work with it, not against it. So the next time you find yourself procrastinating, remember the battle in your head is not a sign of weakness, but a battle of emotion. It's an ancient survival instinct misfiring in a modern world. By understanding the why, you can finally start to win. If you've ever wondered why, now you know. Stay curious.
Because every why leads to a new world of understanding.